fantastic.
Hi, and welcome to this episode of John's Motorcycle Rescue and Review. Today I am pumped. I have a 2015 Yamaha FJ-09 here. It's kind of a more refined FJ-09. It has better wind protection, and so really if you're looking at a daily driver, these things are just hard to beat. They've got a killer 900cc triple 3-cylinder motor in them. They're rated at about 115 horsepower at the crank and about 70 foot-pounds of torque. So that translates to about 105 horsepower at the rear wheel. Anybody who has ridden one of these bikes will tell you this is one of the most entertaining engines in all of motorcycledom. Yamaha just did a knockout job with this motor. It picks up revs very quickly. It's significantly less than 900 cc's in actuality, even though they called it a 900, but you would swear it's a much, much bigger motor. The FJ-09 has multi-power modes, and so you can set it on A, B, or C, depending on what the riding situation is, and it kind of plays around with the throttle mapping. It's fly-by-wire throttle control, so it actually changes the way that it opens the throttle butterflies depending on what setting it is. And you know, it will make the bike significantly more peppy when you put it in the full power mode. The FJ-09 also has ABS brakes, and it also has traction control. The traction control on this bike can be disabled if you wanted to do that, but the ABS is always on. This particular bike has a lot of really cool upgrades on it, and it's got different bars from Rizoma. It's got the bar risers. It's got a custom windscreen for better wind protection. It also has a throttle lock. It's got the Sargent seat on it. It also has nice luggage on it, and these are kind of slim and, you know, really fit the lines and fit the look of the bike very well. As far as brakes go, the FJ-09 has the big radial mounted calipers up front, and so stopping power is significant, really matches the rest of the bike, so you know, you don't have something that's all motor and can't stop. It stops very well. In stock form, the FJ-09 can be a little bit soft in the suspension, and it reminds me of a big dirt bike, kind of the way that it feels. It's soft, it's not super precise. This particular bike has been upgraded with new fork springs, heavier duty fork springs in it, and it's been tuned for the owner of the bike, and so everything is set up for him. But I'm really anxious to see how this feels out on the road, because when I ride the FJ-09, I like it, but I do wish for a little bit more precision in the front end, and so I'm curious to see how this works. The FJ-09 is liquid cooled. It has a 6-speed transmission. As I ride the bike, I'll kind of let you know how it shifts and everything. All right, enough talk. What is the FJ-09 like out on the road? I'm going to grab my gear. I'll bring the camera along. Let's find out together. Let's ride.
Oh yeah. I am currently riding Yamaha's 2015 FJ-09, and right off the bat I'm noticing that this is already kind of a tall bike, and with this Sargent seat I'm really sitting up quite a bit on it. It's a tall seating position. Everything just falls right to hand. My hands are in a very neutral, very nice position here. I'm not stretched out, but I've got just a nice, comfortable lean to the bars. The motor's smooth. And whereas going slow like I'm going right now, if I were on a sport bike, I would be in a lot of pain. But on the sport standards and the adventure bikes like this, even at very mundane speeds, they're very nice and very comfortable. But right away I'm noticing the light weight. Oh yeah. on that motor. Super nice. Very, very eager. We'll hit some twisties. Transitions are beautiful, very nice. Oh yeah. And I'm in standard mode right now. I'm not in the aggressive A mode, but this bike is just very playful. And I do really notice how much stiffer the front springs are and how much better control the front end is. And it's not mushy like the stock springs. And that was really my main complaint with the FJ-09, was just kind of how wallowy and soft the front end was. And it's certainly not harsh right now, but it's just much better controlled. Definitely worth the investment to upgrade those front springs like that. This bike is running stock exhaust, and so it's very quiet. You can hear it when you get on it, but it's not obnoxious. Oh yeah. Awesome brakes. Yeah, fantastic. That's so entertaining. That motor just picks up revs so quickly, and it's got such a flat torque band all the way through the rev range, and it's really not peaky, but it just comes on strong at any RPM. Yeah, fantastic. We'll hit some corners here to see how the bike does through the corners. Yeah, one of the things that I'm really noticing as well is how lightweight this bike is. It only weighs about 460 pounds full of fuel. And so for a liter bike, that is just incredibly light. And it really helps with the acceleration, and it also helps in the transitions and the ride. Everything about this bike is very low effort. And you could really hustle it, and just, you don't have to rev it out at all. It really has so much power down in the lower end of the rev range. And the looks of the Yamaha FJ-09 are definitely very kind of futuristic and waspy, and the matte black paint really kind of carries over that theme, so it's really a tough looking motorcycle. Very aggressive looking, but when you ride it, it's actually a very nice place to be. The FJ-09 is all-day comfortable. You can do all-day trips on it. You can just put on mile after mile in comfort, and it just really does well at being an all-purpose UJM, Universal Japanese Motorcycle. A bike that you can just do any type of riding on and do it well. Another bike line that I like is the Versus line of bikes. And really what this feels like, you have the Versus 650 kind of at the low end. This would be kind of a mid-range, somewhere between a Versus 650 and a Versus 1000 as far as what it's like to ride. It's not as heavy. It's a little bit more quick steering than the Versus 1000, and not quite as precise as the Versys 650, but it has a lot more power. Not quite as much as the Versys 1000, but again, the light weight on this bike really allows for quick transitions, and the upgraded springs on this particular bike really make it nice in the corners. This particular bike also has the ECU flash, and what I'm noticing is that the throttle, on-off throttle, is a lot less abrupt than the stock ECU and the throttle mapping, and that's really a bonus here. That's also money well spent on these, because it's just another area where the FJ-09 series and the FZ-09 and even the FZ-07s can be a little bit abrupt on and off throttle. And even though they had tamed it going from the FZ-09 to the FJ-09, it still was improved. The fueling was improved by the addition of the ECU flash. So that's another nice upgrade. The transition on this FJ-09 shifts very smoothly, very nice up and down through the gears. Clutch engagement is very light. And it just has so much performance on tap. If I had one of these, I would have to be honestly pretty careful, because it is so playful in nature and so rewarding to drive quickly, and the power band and the power plant itself, it just really kind of eggs you on to go faster and to get in the gas. And so, you know, on a bike like this, I tend to be drive a little bit faster than I probably should, but it is a lot of fun. Oh yeah. And I do get some engine vibration through the handlebars. It's not annoying, but it's definitely there. I could definitely, it has a visceral feel to the motor, and that kind of, the vibes kind of contribute to that feel. I don't think it would be uncomfortable over the course of the day. I think it would be just fine. Yeah, Yamaha did a really nice job on this, and it's really a very good example of what Japanese motorcycles have traditionally done. They've just represented a tremendous value for the money. Even though the FJ-09 isn't the quickest or the fastest bike out there, it's a machine that does such a wide variety of riding and does it so well. It just, you know, you could spend a whole lot more money to get a bike that's much more narrow focused than this is, and that you just don't have the usability on. You know, even new, they're priced so attractively, and they offer a really kind of a wide performance range of just all different types of riding that you can do, and do it very competently. And so it's just a really nice machine. I think Yamaha did such a good job on these. All right, I don't know if you can tell, but that was a whole lot of fun. Man, these things, I'm always surprised when I ride one of the newer Yamahas with this 3-cylinder motor. It just has power everywhere. If you didn't know any better, you'd swear it was at least 1200 cc's, and it pulls so nicely. The torque curve is so flat, and you know, my only problem with it is it's hard to be good on it, because it's so entertaining to, you know, twist that throttle and get in it. The changes that were made to this bike on the front end have really transformed it, and where you really notice is under braking. You have tremendously good control, and the bike doesn't wallow, it doesn't mush out, it doesn't use up all the suspension travel. It just maintains a level of precision that you don't get with the stock suspension in the front.
It feels a lot less like a dirt bike, and it feels more like a sport bike with the way that it's set up now. The fueling as well seems better with the ECU flash, and it's a little bit less abrupt in the on and off throttle, and that's another improvement. Especially the early FJ-09s, which use the same motor, were known for very abrupt fueling. And this is not like that. It's very easy. As I touched on before, the FJ-09 just represents a really good value for the money. You can have one bike in the garage and do just a very, very broad spectrum of riding and do it comfortably and do it competently on this bike. I don't know if there are any FJ-09 fans out there. If you want to comment on this and let me know what you think of this video. For my money, these are just tremendous machines, and ones that you can, as good as they are stock, a couple of light modifications really even brings them up to another level and makes them just that much better. Tremendous bikes. Yamaha just did a great job on these. I'll just touch on one more thing. The lightweight of this bike it's apparent when you ride it. It's really cool to have a bike that's this light and has power characteristics like this. Just makes it very, very entertaining to ride. All right, I hope you found this video entertaining and informative, and until next time, enjoy the ride.